genre.
Back to the Doctor's Companion presents Doctor Who The Long Way Round, the weekly podcast where we review and discuss every episode of Doctor Who, one bug person at a time. I'm Cass Fredrickson.
I'm Nick Jimenez.
And I'm a weird little freak.
Today on the show, we'll be discussing the Web Planet, the first Doctor's 14th story.
Just chock full of weird little freaks.
Uh-huh.
So many weird little freaks.
Yep.
Weird, whimpering little freaks.
There's like 4 different kinds of weird little freaks in this. That's got to be some kind of record, right?
It's pretty peak. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's peak. I mean, like every couple episodes in this, they'll like go a level deeper into the planet, and it's like, hello.
Oh, Jesus Christ, there's another one.
We're the Gleep-Glops. We can't even fly. We're even worse than the butterfly ones. And the butterfly ones are like, oh yeah, we piss on these things. And it's like, oh God, I want to get out of here so bad.
Well, the Web Planet. This is directed by Richard Martin, who previously directed Dalek Invasion of Earth and the Daleks, and was written by Bill Strutton. This is his first and only story he ever wrote for Doctor Who. And this came out February 13th, 1965, and aired through March 20th, 1965. And basically, you know, Doctor Who was like riding high on the Daleks being a national phenomenon, and they're like, we need another one of those. So Verity Lambert met with writer Bill Strutton, who watched the show religiously and was like pretty desperate to write for the show, but Lambert was like, I want something like the Daleks. We want a bug-eye monster like the Daleks, but the Daleks are kind of robotic, so we don't want robots. We want something else. And so he was basically like, all right, I'll give you a bunch of shit. And that's what we end up with. Like venom spraying ants. That's because I guess he got badly bitten by interfering with a fight between 2 bull ants. And got badly bitten and has been
interfering.
Horrified. Yeah, I guess trying to hold one back. I don't know.
Like that one clip of Jonathan Majors where he's pretending to stop a youth fight. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah. Hey, I'm good guy Jonathan Majors.
Oh, good guy Jonathan Majors. We should stop fighting.
We should stop fighting. God, you've inspired us.
Oh, thank God I was just walking down this street in New York.
Yeah. He recently got married. Did you know about that?
Mm-hmm.
Megan Good.
So Megan Good, yeah, from Shazam.
Yeah. So anyway, okay, so so he writes this story, comes up with a bunch of different names for all these weird little freaks, so okay. The big thing with this one is that so first off, Peter Purves was almost cast as one of the butterfly guys, but eventually like the the director was like, Richard Martin was like, I don't know, this guy's so handsome. I think it would be a waste to like stick him into this butterfly thing. So instead, they end up casting him as the new companion, Steven Taylor. Steven Taylor. A few episodes later, a few stories from now, but yeah, he was almost just like one of these butterfly guys, which is funny to think
the
about. Menoptera. Try as you might, I will never remember the names of all of these things.
It's the Menoptera are the bee people, and the Zarbi are the butterfly people.
Oh, butterfly. Oh, right. Okay, go ahead.
But you're right, though. They are very bee coded, but then the wings are very butterfly like, and then the Zarbi are the ants, and then the pathetic like menopod creatures were
the little dog guys.
That hopped.
Yeah.
I believe those are called the Optera. Yep, the Optera.
Okay.
I'm on the TARDIS wiki right now. I'm the one that's going to have to
that's
recap
true.
this.
That's true.
So.
That was your job. Yeah, fair enough. So okay, so here's the thing. So they bring in an Australian mime named Rosalind de Winter to develop the style of movement and speech for the Menoptera and the Optera. She also ends up playing Vrestin.
Okay.
I think the lady butterfly, right?
That's the one that's with
Oh,
Ian.
yeah, that's Ian's friend.
Yeah. So she's
Ian's
playing that.
friend.
And she's the mime that they hired to like create the way they move and speak. So they start filming this thing. And there was this was really, really difficult to do. So like first off, they wanted to make the planet seem more alien, and so they were like, "Oh, let's get like a distorting lens for the camera." But they're like, "We don't have budget for a distorting lens." He's like, "Okay, then just smear some petroleum jelly over it." So that's why the planet looks the way that it does, because it's just a regular camera lens smeared with petroleum jelly.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And probably ruined the lens, to be perfectly honest. It probably cost them more in the long run. So then like, like the ant guys were like the puppet things were like really messed up all the time, and nobody could see in any of the costumes that they were wearing. I guess at one point in the third episode, one of them just like runs into the camera, and they were so behind on what they were doing. They're like, that's it. That's what we got. So like, just like pulling a full Clint Eastwood where they're like, one take. That's it. That's all we got time for. We got to keep going. But they ran into the camera, and they're just like, whatever. We'll use it. It doesn't matter.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So, so this was like really difficult. Lambert was getting really frustrated with the director because he was being overly permissive with allowing the actors last minute dialogue changes. And she was like, I don't think they're doing that because they don't like the dialogue. I think they're doing it because they're not memorizing the dialogue. And that's some bullshit. And he was basically like, I don't know. I'm not going to tell the lead actors what to do. Like, they'll just do what they want to do. And she's like, no,
you're the director.
Yeah, I don't like this. I don't like that you're doing this. And he was like, tough shit. I don't know, man. So a lot of the actors were just kind of making up their dialogue because they couldn't remember what the script actually said. I think a big part of that was a lot of the doctor's dialogue because, we're now nearing the point where William Hartnell was starting to like degrade as an elderly man, and was having issues with remembering a bunch of fucking bullshit, made up, like just nonsense. So she was really mad at the director. Everything was falling behind. The Zarbi costumes were breaking and had to be repaired on the spot. Lines were being flubbed. Cues were being missed. equipment were having problems. There was just a lot of issues. And it was around this time that William Russell took a look around at the chaos around him and this absolute fucking nonsense that he was having to like memorize and spout off, and just said, you know what? I think I'm done. I think I've had my fill of this show. I think this is it for me. And so he decided to not renew his contract and would finish out the season, but would not return. And that was due specifically because of this story. This story just broke him. And then meanwhile, Barbara, what is her name? Deborah Hill, right? No, not Deborah Hill. That's the producer. What is her name? Jacqueline Hill. Jacqueline Hill, she got her like contractually obligated like episode off, like her week off vacation. So that's why she's not in episode 3. But part of her being a series regular means that she has to be credited in even the episodes that she's not in. But the BBC decided to take this opportunity to not credit her for the episode that she was not in. And she tried to fight it and lost and did not get credited or paid for episode 3, even though she was contractually supposed to. I have a feeling this has something to do with her being a woman in the 60s. And so despite the fact that both William Hartnell and William Russell both got paid for their weeks off, she did not, which led to her being like, you know what? Fuck this. And deciding that she was also not going to be staying to the end of the show or to the end of the season. So, or after the season, would not be renewing her contract. So yeah, we've got Ian and Barbara on their way out now at the end of this. And it really all comes down to this being a kind of a shitty shoot for everyone involved. And for, people not getting credit where they should have, and things like that. Episode 1 of this story was watched by 13.5 million viewers, which is the most of any Doctor Who episode in the 60s. I think this episode was like hyped because they were like, oh, if you like the Daleks, just wait until you see these fucking guys, these weird little freaks.
They're really weird.
Yeah, and I think everybody was like, well, I mean, they're no Daleks. So
what is?
Yeah, I mean, none of these creatures ever return to the show. So
okay, I was gonna ask. So we never see a Menoptera again. We never see. Okay.
Nope. We never see any of this ever again. But
are there people who think that the creature in Unicorn and the Wasp is a Menoptera? Is that like a fan theory?
Oh.
No, I don't think
that's
so.
a wasp. They're not bees, Nick. They're butterflies.
Yeah, they're butterflies.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a wasp. So anyway, that's the Web Planet. It was a rough one for everybody. And, there's a lot here. There's a lot of stuff, but it's so interesting because while there is a lot of weird little freaks and a lot of like made up words and names and things like that you have to remember, the plot of this is essentially like a very just kind of bog standard Doctor Who plot of people in control, rebels, and fighting to take back control of like the land that should be rightfully theirs. That's like every other classic Who story, I think. So that's basically what this is. But yeah, that's the Web Planet. How did we feel about this one? I guess we'll start with you, Nick.
Narratively, I found it pretty dull and uninspired, like you said, bog standard Doctor Who. Technically, I found it very impressive. I thought these costumes were gorgeous. and silly. I thought a lot of these sets were really psychedelic and weird and wondrous, especially when we start getting into like the Cave of Lights and all that stuff.
Mhm.
I was happy that it existed. It's one of the few times I can remember being embarrassed for the actors. Just the actors having to be like the bee creatures and the hopping larvae and the ants with like big Disney cartoon kind of boots, like
Mhm.
walking on regular human legs, wearing.
Mhm.
It was just, I was like being like, God, these poor actors, But yeah, so yeah, I wouldn't say I wasn't engaged through all of it, but the weirdness of it, I just found quintessentially Doctor Who. Real quick, if I could, while I was doing some research, not reading, just looking up the TARDIS wiki and stuff, I found a Reddit thread about this episode, and I found some amazing fan art for the Menoptera that I just shared with both of you on the Discord. And it is, I'll call it
Whoa.
charitable.
That's really cool.
Wow. Wow,
Like-
that is. God, I wish it actually looked like that. That's so cool.
Mhm.
They look like Magic the Gathering. It's kind of like
Yeah.
the very like big strong torsos, and one of them's pointing listener like there.
Yeah.
We'll fight there. But in the episode, they're like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, Barbara. Help us be an army, Barbara." And Barbara's like, "I'm a school teacher."
Why does everybody want me to start their army with them? Yeah, wow, that makes me want them to come back if they would look like that. That would rule. Cass, do you feel similarly about this one?
Yeah, I remember having like a fondness for this one the first time I saw it. Like to the point where I remembered that they were called Zarbi and like they're like weird little ant dog things. I was having trouble staying engaged, especially like early on. This is one of the few 6-parters where I feel like episode 5 is actually my favorite, which is weird.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, I like how ambitious this kind of is. And it has like a charm to it. So I'm actually like I'm really fond of this one, even though like the plot is like very boring, and it takes too long to get started. But once we're like actually like I don't know, I like exploring all the like the weird. I don't know, I'm a fan of weird little guys, so like this one's full of weird little guys.
I know there's a Target book of this one, and you're right, Cass. Like, this is a very ambitious, almost epic saga. And I feel like if you were a kid and you were to read this before watching it, it would be just like this crazy, like you said, Scott, of like an uprising and like a rebellion and like lies that are as old as civilization about what these creatures actually are. But yeah, when you're watching it, it's just like poor actors hopping around and like spinning in circles and doing sad little voices,
and struggling to find a fourth kind of voice to have for another species. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I was entertained through a lot of this, and I will say that for whatever reason, there's something about the boring parts in the first 2 parts where it's just like Ian and the Doctor talking to each other, or Barbara and what's her face talking to each other,
Vicki
talking to each other. That even though it's boring, like I'm still like I'm more interested in that than when there's like 4 little freaks standing in a circle, like talking about jib jabbing the jogglobblgaloo.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I don't know what that is. I don't know what they're talking about. So, when it's just Vicki and Barbara talking about how she should take a nap, I'm like, yeah, this I can get on board with. I don't know why. But yeah, I agree. Like, I think it bites off probably more than it can possibly ever even imagine chewing. but it's doing its best, and I am endlessly charmed by like them on the planet's surface, and you can just like see like the backdrop having like a split in it where there's like two boards next to each other, you know?
Yeah.
It's just so obviously a set. It's insane. And like at times this kind of just reminds me of like watching like a school play or something.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a part in, I think it's episode 5 or 6, whenever they're like in the center of the thing, and that door like hinges open, and you're like, oh yeah, I can, like, this is a set.
Yeah.
And it's like very obviously a set.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of like a school play.
Yeah. Yeah.
If the guy and if the girl and the guy from Moonrise Kingdom like adapted one of the girl's books to a stage play, it would be this episode.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think you're right. Man, now you made me want a Wes Anderson directed like
Doctor
adventure
Who.
in space and time style, like about the making of Doctor Who.
Absolutely.
That would be
Verity.
nuts.
There is something. Verity Lambert is there's something Wes Anderson-y about that character. You know, just like
Absolutely.
trying to keep it all. But it must be said though, like the degradation of William Hartnell is really obvious in this one. The humming is at a max. He's just puttering around this episode, kind of barely understanding what's coming out of his mouth.
And not even and trying so hard to remember what he's supposed to be saying next that sometimes he misses his cues. And you have characters literally like repeating themselves to get him to like say his next line, which adds to the school play sort of vibes of this whole thing.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, but I mean, it's just going to get worse from here, unfortunately. But that is the Web Planet. Nick, let's talk through this intricate plot.
Sure. Happy to do it. Well, when we last left our heroes, they were leaving their adventure in Rome and found the TARDIS being dragged down by some kind of web. And which is where we find them at the start of this story. The TARDIS is being stuck and held down to the surface of a planet. Ian and the Doctor go outside to check it out, and as Scott alluded to, there's this charming bit of business where Vicki goes down to settle for a nap, and there's this really funny part where Barbara's like, "Oh, Doctor, can I find your medicine? Can I go into the medicine cabinet for Vicki?" And the Doctor's like, "Oh, sure, you know where it is." And like, I bet she does. And she comes out with aspirin, and Vicky's like, "I don't want to take any of your backwoods fucking primeval voodoo medicine, you slag, you primitive slag." And Vicky's like, "Okay, fucking chill. It's aspirin." Vicky's kind of a brat in a way that I like. Like, she's not brat, but she is a brat.
I think it comes off that way just because she's so much further along. Like, they might as well be from medieval times, you know? Like,
To her,
she's
yeah.
like, to her, like, aspirin is like telling you to like, oh, we'll just like slap some leeches on your arm and you'll feel better, you know? Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
You just have to balance your humors.
Yeah.
Right.
And so Vicki settles down for a nap. Oh, we get this. So this is kind of important for the plot. At one point, Vicki is like, "Oh, Barbara, I like your gold necklace or your gold bracelet." And she's like, "Oh, thank you. Nero gave it to me back in the Romans." And Vicki was like, "What? But you're like, "Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, me and Ian were also in Rome." Because remember, listeners, if you listen to our Romans episode, they were like on two separate adventures and kind of were never. Vicki and the Doctor were never even aware that Ian and Barbara left their fuck den or wherever they were hanging out.
Let alone became like slaves.
Right.
And yeah.
Oh my god.
However you would describe where they're hanging out.
Yeah.
I
mean, there was a bed, there was grapes. I think you're accurate.
Oh yeah. No, they hooked up, right?
That's why the doctor and Vicki left, is to just give them some privacy.
Let's go, Vicki. I sense what's so. Yeah. So the doctor and Ian are outside, and they're like, "This is a creepy, kooky planet, man. I don't know what's going on with my TARDIS right now." Ian has a gold pen that disappears, and there's this part where the doctor's like, yes, good trick, Ian. Yes, I haven't seen that one before. Yes, and Ian's like, "The fuck are you talking about?" And it's like, "Oh yeah, this gold pen just like, I didn't do that, doctor. My gold pen just like vanished out of my hand." And the doctor's like, yes, yeah, indeed, yeah. It's a lot of that, listeners.
Yeah.
He's like 60% noises in this.
Yeah.
And so they come upon some acid in a pool. The doctor, Ian, thinks that it's water, but then, okay, clear this up for me. Was Ian using a tie as a belt?
Yes.
I don't know what to make of that. That's kind of punk, but also kind of like, is he just running out of clothes to wear?
Right? Yeah, what happened to his belt?
He probably I don't know. He probably lost it at some point in being a slave. I don't know. They probably just took it away from him. What is this? You can't have this.
So yeah, they dip the tie in acid, and that's how the doctor's like, "I saved your life. Yeah, you thought it was water, but it was acid." And they are like, "Oh, oh, there was like echoing." At one point, I was like, thought it was just the sound stage, but they actually do make a point to be like, "Oh, there's an echo on the surface of this planet. That's really interesting." Then part one ends with some kind of humming that was causing Vicki great distress. That was actually the reason she had to lie down, was humming was giving her like a migraine. So we hear this humming, and it hypnotizes Barbara, and she leaves the TARDIS. And then the episode ends with the TARDIS not being where it was. It's disappeared. And the doctor's like, "My TARDIS." And then it ends. That's it.
Yes.
Part one.
Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty. No, we don't get like a good look at any of the weird little freaks in part one.
No.
No, I don't think we do.
Yeah. Just kind of some puttering around, which I think is a waste.
So part two begins with the doctor and Ian find drag marks. So it's like, oh, the TARDIS didn't disappear. It was dragged. It was moved by something. Barbara comes into contact with the Zarbi that we've already mentioned, the ants that are kind of like big old ant costumes, but then the human legs of the actors are sticking out at the bottom. So they're weirdly the most mobile of any of the creatures we're going to meet today.
Yes.
And they are the Zarbi. They are controlling Barbara through the bracelet because it's gold. And they use gold to like create a humming thing that gives them like hypnotizing powers. I think that's what was happening.
Yeah.
I think so.
She was like complaining about how she couldn't control her arm. Like sometimes her arm had like a mind of its own. And Vicki was like, "You stupid idiot. What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
It's that aspirin you made me take.
I'm going to sleep.
We Doctor and Ian meet the Menoptera, which are these beta bees that speak in like whispery voices. And they're just like very like, "Oh, hello, we're the Menoptera, help us, please. We're an army." And
We swear
we're an army. Please help us. We're conquerors. Help us, please. These things get their asses kicked a couple episodes from now, and it's really funny. And yeah, they think that the Doctor and Ian are like bad and scary. But so basically, listeners, there's like a war going on between the Zarbi, the ants, and the Menoptera, the butterflies. And the ants they refer to the Menoptera as invaders, like they're an invading force. But we later learn that it's a bit more complicated than that. And episode 2 ends with the Doctor somehow ends up getting captured by the Zarbi, and this kind of like cone crown thing descends from the ceiling and covers the Doctor's head, and we hear this kind of feminine, whispery voice being like, "Why are you here? Like, why are you here?" And that's how it ends. That's how episode 2 ends. Thoughts on episode 2?
More weird shit, which is good. Yeah.
So, Cass, what do you think of the Menoptera?
They are very like trying to like willowy, you know? I think their manner of speaking is like interesting, but it's kind of like it's like not quite I have no idea how to describe it, honestly. Like but I think a lot of their dialogue is really cool. But now if like people were just improvising, I'm not even sure if that was in the script. But I think my favorite like voice in this episode or in this story is actually the bad guy voice, like the Animus voice.
Yeah, she's nice and creepy.
The Menoptera's way of speaking, I would describe as vocal interpretive dance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good one. Yeah, for sure.
That's the best I can do. But yeah, the fact that it doesn't really work, I think is due to the fact that they hired a mime who famously does not speak.
Like don't speak. Yeah.
To create the speech pattern for this alien.
It's also like not uniform.
No, it's not uniform. I would say she does it the best. And all of the other people, they don't really know what they're doing. And they're just doing like kind of a weird, lilted, like sing-songy thing.
Yeah, the one that befriends Barbara is pretty good too.
Yeah, he's good.
I don't remember his name, but yeah.
How could you?
Clip.
A lot of H's and V's.
A lot of H's and V's and Y's and R's and N's kind of smushed together.
Was he Hrostar?
I don't know because like, is that the one that dies later?
Hrostar does die.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway.
I feel really bad for the one larva that wedges herself into like lava a few episodes.
Yeah.
That was a bummer. But we're not there yet, listeners. Episode 3, Escape to Danger. We meet so the voice, this disembodied voice that is communicating with the Doctor. This voice, I'll call her she, but she seems to be communicating. She seems to be in control of the Zarbi, the ant creatures. And for the rest, kind of half of the story going forward, the Doctor is sort of an uneasy, disobedient prisoner to the Animus. I think that's kind of what the intelligence is called. And it's kind of like, you're going to help me take out these butterfly creatures. And the Doctor's like, oh, am I? Yes. And it's kind of like subterfuge while kind of getting what he wants. I did like how the Doctor was sort of in crafty strategy mode for most of this. It's a good look for him. So, so to the Zarbi, the Menoptera are an invading force. But later we learn, so Ian kind of makes buddies with one of the Menoptera. And he's like, so what's with the Zarbi? And she's like, oh, funny thing about the Zarbi is like we were both indigenous to this planet at one point, and they were just kind of, chill and low key kind of like, subservient to us, but we don't need to get into that. But at one point, this evil force called the Animus seeped out of the soil and just made them really aggro and drove us off the planet. And now we're trying to like take the planet back and restore balance. So while they are kind of like invading, they're kind of invading their planet that they were banished from.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of subterfuge, a lot of business about the spearhead. The Menoptera keep talking about the spearhead, which is kind of like the first wave of this invading force that they're trying to. The spearhead needs to know where to land, and so they got to turn on the thing to tell the spearhead where to land. And that's kind of a good chunk of episode 3 and 4. Honestly, is trying to just lead the spearhead so that the invasion can start. And then episode 3 ends with whatever the mime Menoptera, the main girl one, and Ian getting caught in this big rock slide and pulled down beneath the earth.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. This is the episode where like I start kind of like losing the thread of the plot because like between this episode and the next episode, because there's just so many things going on and so many creatures, and like it just starts like happening to me rather than me like actively watching it. If that makes sense.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's entertaining, I will say.
Barbara and her Menoptera buddy are being led to a place called the Crater of Needles, which is where enslaved Menoptera go to have their wings pulled and put to labor, tilling the earth at the Zarbi's behest.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And indeed, episode 4 is called Crater of Needles, where Barbara and her butterfly buddy are put to work, and he's like, "Will I ever fly again?" And she's like, "No, your wings have been pulled off." And he's like, "No," and he twirls. "My wings." And Barbara's like, "God, these things are fucking pathetic."
And speaking of pathetic, we meet new friends.
Oh God, absolutely. So Ian and his Menoptera buddy, they're beneath the earth because of the rock slide, and there are these kind of menopod hopping cocoon things that have like what do you call kind of like the thing that that sea anemones have, those kind of like tentacle-y things, but they're kind of like
I don't know what the
I don't
it's
know.
kind of
sure what they're
it's
called.
kind of hair coated in this. It kind of looks like hair, and they're like, "Hello," and they're very. I thought they were very Muppety. These things,
yeah, they are. That's true.
They kind of remind me of the kindergartners from that show Recess.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like they have that vibe.
They're more tribal and more primitive than. They're like, "Oh, you came from above where the bad sky is. You're bad." Like, no, sky is good. Sky is very good. And Ian's like, "Get me the fuck out of this show."
If I see one more weird little guy, I swear to God,
I'm taking you all out. So yeah, the doctor, at one point Vicki is like put in like a vegetative state as punishment for the doctor being a little pest, and the doctor's like, "Well, I can't help you if thus the child is alive." And then she's like, "Okay, well, you're on thin ice, buddy." And so the Menoptera are planning. The spearhead is coming. The spearhead is imminent. And then Barbara's like, "But they'll all be killed." You guys are not warriors. And we kind of later learned that they were not. This is kind of unnatural to them, being an army, being at war. So yeah, we get this really kind of impressive thing where the army arrives and they're flying, and I thought the flying looked really cool.
Yes, I like the flying sequence a lot.
Pretty technically impressive, but these things get fucking obliterated by the ants. It's not a very, it's not big on glory, this battle.
Okay. So
Please.
I need to talk about the weird little guys that I'm obsessed with. So the Zarbi have these little bugs that are also guns. And they look like one of those like dogs that looks like mops
Yeah.
crossed with a bug and with
Yes.
a gun as a nose, and I am obsessed with them.
They're great.
They're like proto. What are those guys called? The
Cybermats?
Yeah, cybermats.
Yeah,
they're like
yeah,
proto
yeah.
cybermats.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
But like big,
They're big.
like Labrador
Big.
size.
Like
Yeah.
Labrador Ottoman-sized
yeah.
things. I don't know. And kind of like, I don't know how they pulled that off. Did they put those over a dog?
No, that's definitely a person on all fours.
That
Oh.
sucks.
Yeah.
But anyway, I love those. I love
No,
those things.
They're great. Can't remember what they're called, but they're my second favorite weird little guy. My favorite weird little guy comes up in episode 5, Invasion. So the battle was a shit show. All of the Menoptera are dead.
I'm sorry. You said I don't know what they're called. They're just called larva guns.
Incredible. Okay. Yeah, bug guns. I love them.
Yeah.
They need to come back. I need Gatwa to pick up one of those things and cock it. Like
Yes. Larva guns, also known as venom grubs.
That's not as cool.
Yeah.
larva guns. That's great. Kind of reminds me of that video game from that you played last year, Scott, with
Oh yes,
the Rick and Morty guy.
Yeah, the High on Life.
High on Life, yeah.
Yeah.
Where it was like, have you seen this cast? It's like your gun talks to you. And he's
That's
like,
so funny.
I don't
of
know
your
about this,
guns are-
man.
Yeah, all of your guns are like little alien creatures. Yeah. One of them is a gun that gives birth to its ammo, and its ammo are like little babies. And he's like, yeah,
Oh
fire
my-
off my little babies. And then the babies go and they commit suicide. Like that's
Oh my God.
at the enemy. And then he goes, and then like
No.
more babies. Yeah. That's the one that's voiced by Tim Robinson.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah, all the guns are like voiced by someone like from comedy or from like
Yeah.
animation.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So episode 5 is pretty cool. So Vicki and Doctor play possum and they're pretending to be in a vegetative state, and one of the Zarbi is checking on them, and then they kind of like just fucking they kind of like gang up on this thing and start like, God, wait, when does Ian tackle an ant? That was amazing. I think we
Oh
might have
man, I don't remember.
Yeah,
But
he snaps an ant's neck. Yeah. This is one action move.
So they Vicki and the Doctor, they kind of like they fight this ant and like overpower it, and they put the gold hypnotizing harness over it, and so that just becomes their ally, and Vicki names it Zombo,
Mm-hmm.
and I loved Zombo.
Zombo.
And the Doctor's like, what? Who's Zombo? It's like, I named it Zombo. He's my friend.
There's-
The Doctor's like, okay.
There's a part where William Hartnell is like crouching and he's like trying to wrangle this ant
Oh yeah.
like Chris Pratt in Jurassic World with the raptors, and it's so fucking funny. Like
And,
There's also just
we
like generally like a lot of scenes of William Hartnell just like strutting into a scene with his cane, just like
Mhm.
just like a pimp, just strutting in, and then like you'll watch the scene unfold and you'll see his confidence in the scene just like go down in real time.
oh no.
Until you get to the end of the scene and he's like, I've lost the thread. I have no idea what's going on. That happens several times in this story.
It's amazing. So, meanwhile, below, the Menoptera and Barbara go to this thing called the Temple of Light, which, again, I thought was very visually impressive for this era of the show. Had a real kind of like 60s YA fantasy book that you find at the library vibes. And so Barbara's like, well, that fucking sucked. You guys all got killed. And they're like, we're not supposed to be an army. We were bred to worship light and twirl in circles and make poems. Help us, Barbara. Help us be an army. And Barbara's like, I'm a school teacher. You're a great conqueror. Help us, please. And so she's like,
Are you sure you guys are butterflies and not moths?
Yeah,
Yeah, they're
that's
obsessed
true.
with light.
Yeah. I think they might be moths. I don't
That's a
know.
good point. So Meanwhile, Ian and his Menoptera are trying to. So they learned that these. I had the name a second ago. The like pathetic little menopod people.
Oh, the Optera.
The Optera. Thank you, Cass.
Yeah.
The Optera are actually a lesser form of the Menoptera, and their destiny is actually to evolve into the Menoptera, but they've forgotten that and now live in squalor in the subterrane. And Ian's Menoptera buddy is trying. She's like, I want to help them. I want to bring them into the light. And so they're kind of on this quest to go back up. At one point, lava starts to seep out from the ground, and one of the Optera wedges herself into the crevice, and Ian's like, Jesus Christ! And the Optera's like, no, this is good. It's good that this is happening. She's supposed to do that. And she's like, God, this is good. And they're like, well, we carry on. And Ian like takes a second to be like, I feel compelled to like honor this thing's sacrifice for a beat.
Right.
Like, she was a living, she seemed to have consciousness and a life. And it's kind of brutal out of nowhere. So yeah, and that's how that episode ends, is they start to go up, but then the cliffhanger is the consciousness, the intelligence, the animata or whatever webs Vicki and Doctor together, and the Doctor manages to let one little like wall webbed.
Yeah. that web thing, it comes out of the wall, and it's like the eye in Jabba's palace.
Yeah,
just like it's like
hated that.
alive, and then it like shoots the thing, and it like literally like pulls back and like shoots. It's really, I'll be honest, like that's the thing that kind of wigged me out the most, was whatever
It's
that
really
thing
unsettling.
is. It's really unsettling.
Oh God!
Just the fact that it winds up before it shoots the
Yeah.
web is like, I don't know. I don't like that.
I think the most interpretive dance thing happens in episode 6, the center, where the Menoptera corner a Zarbi and like chant it to death. What was that, Cass?
I have no idea. Like they're trying to like spook it or make it go somewhere, but they like just yell at it like it's a bear and they're on a hike. I don't know.
But imagine they're yelling Zarbi at it. So imagine if you're like, bear,
Right, like, hey,
bear, and the bear's like, okay, fine, fuck, and he just like wanders away.
you get rid of the bear by giving it an existential crisis.
Am I a bear?
Oh man. Yeah, I mean that's pretty interpreted dance, but I don't know that anything beats like the actual end of this story, which is just the most interpretive dance bullshit. And
So,
I'm left being like, why isn't this over? Why are we watching this?
Oh, I see what you're talking about. Yeah. So, so Ian and his Menoptera bring the Optera leader is like, I'll go with you to see if your light is good theory turns out to be true. And if it is, I will come back for my people and lead them back to the surface. We meet the source of the disembodied voice, which is this huge kind of sea anemone / spider that's taken over this cave. And her plan is to seep its consciousness out past Vortis, the planet we've been on, and take over like the galaxy and all of that. So they have this plan they remember the isotope?
I don't think we talked about it, but
Yeah, it's like a
basically
orb.
the Menoptera, like they made a gadget, some sort of thing that's supposed to disable the Animus but you have to be like at the source. Like that's why they haven't been able to do it remotely.
And Vicki drops it or leaves it. And so Barbara has to pick it up where Vicki left it. And I do like how Barbara kind of gets to be the MVP of this episode. Like she delivers the killing blow to the Animus by sticking the orb where the sun don't shine. Hell yeah. And so the evil is conquered, and then there's this really awkward moment where the doctor's like, "Well, Ian, Chesterton, it seems like everything turned out well." And he's like, "Yes, except for my tie." Oh, yeah, something about coal? Yeah, it was from Coal Hill. It was my Coal Hill tie. Yes, indeed, quite. And then he putters into the TARDIS, and I'm like, great, cool, good banter, guys. I'm sure at some point those were lines.
Brutal. Absolutely brutal.
And then the TARDIS disappears, and then we get like just a fun little extra 30 seconds of the Menoptera being weird and talking about like someday we will call they're calling the spearhead back into the planet, and then it's like, yes, we're gonna be okay. We're gonna sure be a civilization, and then we never see them again.
Mm-hmm.
Never again. But man, that sequence after the TARDIS leaves and then we just stay with them and we're just there for like another 10 minutes, it feels like. While they just like talk amongst themselves while dancing around and hopping around and all kinds of shit. It's just like, my God.
Now,
did this episode come in light or something? Dude, we need to cut it out.
So we never do this. I was expecting to be like, oh, now we're going to be on the TARDIS for a couple minutes and set up the next adventure, but no, we weirdly like don't. We stay with the creatures, and it's like, no, this isn't part of it.
No, I don't know that they ever do that again.
I don't know.
I can't think of another example of us ever like staying on the planet after the TARDIS leaves. It's very strange.
So yeah, strange episode, weird vibes. It caused two actors to want to leave the show forever.
It's true. It's true. Well, as two actors leave next week, we have an actor arriving in the form of new companion Zoe. In the wheel in space, which unfortunately does not exist, or at least, well, 2 episodes do. 4 episodes are reconstructions, and there is a partial animated episode 1, where it was like a bonus feature, I think on the Macra Terror. Yeah, I think animated version. So there's like a 10-minute version of episode 1 that is animated, but that's the only one they've done. It's just 10 minutes of episode 1. I don't know why they did it. I don't know why they didn't continue. But
it's like a proof of concept or something?
I guess.
Or?
I don't know. But it's out there and you can watch it on, I think, YouTube and stuff, but also like it's missing a bunch of scenes like Jamie really wanting some roast beef.
I can relate.
Yeah. For some reason, they didn't feel the need to animate that scene. But anyway.
God, the larva gun is so big.
Yeah.
Like,
I love it.
Looking at it in relation to there's a picture I found. I think it's a picture you shared, Cass, of like it standing at the foreground of a Menoptera, or of two Zarbi. And it's big. It's like
I love its dopey little face.
Its dopey little face, its big ol' eyes, and it's like little. It's like it reminds me of that dog Muppet from Labyrinth that Sir Didymus rides.
Yeah.
So yeah, cock your larva guns, listeners.
Hell yeah.
You got them.
Yeah. So next week, Wheel in Space, not available on Tubi. So find other means to watch it or absorb it in some way. But either way, we'll be talking about it next week. And yeah, until then, bye everybody.